Good morning everyone, I'm Mr. Ish. Thank you for joining me for this video. Now that we have some basic understanding of integration techniques, especially when it comes to polynomial integrals, it makes sense to look at this video. We'll be talking about simple formula derivations. We'll be looking at how the triangle area formula is derived and the rectangle or square area formula is derived. We can use integral calculus for both of these area derivations. Granted, you can do all of this using trigonometry or geometry. We can also do it using integral calculus. It makes sense to do so. So we will apply basic polynomial integrals for these two, and in these instances, unlike some of the previous derivations I've put out, just for interest's sake, we don't have to get into trigonometric substitution techniques or any of those advanced integration techniques, because this will be just basic polynomial integrals being applied. Quickly, as you know, with the integrals for polynomials, we are looking at something which looks like x to the n plus 1 divided by n plus 1 in terms of integral of a polynomial. So long as here n is not equal to minus 1, but this minus 1 case will not even apply over here, so it doesn't matter. And also keep in mind, anytime you're looking something like this, here the variable is x and you have nothing over here, but you do have something over here, because you really have x to the power of 0 dx. When you take it through this format, you get what? As your antiderivative, x. Likewise, if you see something like this, integral dy, you should get a y. If you see an integral d theta, you should get a theta. No matter what the variable here is, x, s, y, d, theta, whatever, you should always get that variable to the power of 1 in terms of all of these. So when we look at the rectangle and the square formula derivation, here for either case, area is always equal to length times width. We're going to do that in terms of dy. What does that mean? And I've shown you this in some of the previous derivation videos. When you're doing integration, like area with respect to y, the area of a curve or between curves with respect to that, you're always looking at things from an interval along the y-axis, along a y-axis set of intervals, upper and lower along a vertical axis. You're always looking at x right minus xl. Right boundary curve minus left boundary curve with respect to dy. And the triangle derivation, which we'll do with respect to dx, we're doing area with regards to x. You're looking at intervals here a to b, but along an x-axis dimension, and here we'll do yt minus yb with respect to dx. You've seen these terms, top boundary curve, lower boundary curve, or bottom boundary curve. The capital X's mean here the equations must be in the x equals format if it were to come out that way, and here the equation must be in the y equals format. So all of these have to be kept in mind because we're doing area derivation of the formula. Then these are the templates which will come into play for these derivations. And for the triangle, area is equal to base times height over 2. So we have to learn how to derive this and this using integral calculus and using these templates over here. We'll do the rectangle and the square using this. We'll do the triangle using this. Generally, when it comes to integration, you should be comfortable with integrating with respect to dx and with respect to dy, not just dx alone. How do we go about deriving the formula for a square or a rectangle area, length times width? I will show it to you. If you start off with a plot, and let's just put a vertical line x equals, and we'll call it L. And we can call this right here a horizontal line y equals w. This happens to be a point over here, y-intercept 0 comma w. This happens to be a x-intercept over here, L comma 0. And if you're looking at the area derivation, you're looking at this area between the curves. So how can we do this in terms of dy? We're looking at something of this format. We're looking from the interval from a y-axis perspective. We're looking here from a 0 up to the highest point on this curve, which is determined by this horizontal line with the y-intercept value of w. What is my format going to be? It's xr minus xl dy. Right boundary curve and left boundary curve. This right here is my right boundary curve. My left boundary curve is basically the y-axis. So let's just plug the items in. It's not hard by any means. Remember, once you learn the basic polynomial integration techniques, it's easy. You can start applying them to basic derivations at the very least. What's my right boundary curve? It's this. What's my left boundary curve? It's the y-axis, which is x equals 0. Minus 0. Minus 0 is meaningless. So what we get here, area with regards to y, we get from 0 up to w, we have L dy. And when we integrate this right here is really not a variable. This really here is a constant. You could have pushed it out. You could have been saying there's 0w dy, and this is what I was talking about at the very beginning. Right here you're looking at something to the power of 0, and then you do the n plus 1 divided by n plus 1, right? And what do you get? You end up inheriting that one variable y, because we're looking at here in terms of y, we end up inheriting y. So what do we get? We get here L, the antiderivative of this. Once we do the antiderivative, the integral sign goes away. We end up inheriting the y, and I've shown you why. From an upper limit of w to a lower limit of 0, you plug this in, you do the difference. Remember, this is direct integration, except the direct integration values are variables and or numericals. You do LW minus L times 0. This is useless here, and you get LW being the area, which is what we're looking at, and you've suddenly derived the formula for an area of a rectangle or a square-like figure, meaning length times width, and that's how you do it. Now in this last portion of this video, which is not a long video, we look at the area derivation of the triangle, but we will look at it in terms of dx. The derivation over here starts with you drawing this plot, x-axis, y-axis, and you can just draw a line across. So you've created a triangle. You know, we'll call this our base dimension, this my height dimension, and this x-intercept will become b comma 0. We're just looking at here, easy stuff over here. This right here, y-intercept will become 0 comma h. You know, for the area derivation, you're looking at this region between the curves, y equals 0, x equals 0, and this y equals mx plus b line. This y equals mx plus b line has to be determined, and the first thing you have to do is determine the slope. The slope can be here determined by change in y divided by change in x. You have x1, y1, x2, y2, and you can take it to the formula. Change in y will be h over minus b. You'll get a minus h over b. It makes sense. You have a downward sloping line, so it'll have a negative slope. So y is equal to minus h over b x plus, what's your y-intercept? This right here is my y-intercept, which is just h. This right here is my line, which will come very much into this formula. Since we're looking at here with regards to dx, equations must be the y equals format, which they are. Our formula will be area with regards to x. We'll be looking at an interval along an x-axis dimension, lower limit 0 to upper limit b, my yt minus yb with respect to dx. What's my top boundary curve? Top boundary curve is this, which is right here. Here's my top boundary curve. What's my lower boundary curve? It's right here, your x-axis. So it's not too hard. It's going to be from 0 to b, top boundary curve, which is minus hx over b plus h, minus lower boundary curve, which is y equals 0, which is just 0 with respect to dx. This right here is meaningless. We don't need to bring it in. So we just basically have area with regards to x from 0 to b. We just have minus hx over b plus h dx. All we have to do is integrate this. So what's our variable over here? It's x. When you start integrating it, it's no different than you looking at a fraction over here, like minus 2 over 3, and you're looking at it, everything in terms of that. This is no different than a constant such as h with the x to the power of 0. You'll do n plus 1 divided by n plus 1. You'll do the n plus 1 divided by n plus 1 rule all along over here. And what will you get? You get minus hx square over b2, right? Or 2b, right? Here x value in terms of exponent is x to the 1. You'll do 1 plus 1 divided by 1 plus 1. X square over 2 plus hx. This will all be from an upper limit b to 0, and you will have to simplify this. When you simplify this, what do you get? You have to put the b values in all of these x's, and then the zeros in all of these x's, and do the difference of the two. The difference of the two is meaningless in the sense that putting 0 is irrelevant. Just put the b's. You'll have a minus hb squared over 2b plus hb. Simplify this. This b cancels out with this. You get a minus hb over 2 plus hb. Fraction algebra right here. 2 common denominator minus hb plus 2hb. What do you get? 2hb minus hb is a bh, right? bh, hb, what's the difference? It's all the same. And that right there is your area. Because we know the area of this triangle is half base times height, and we've got that half base times height, and it's derived. So it's not too hard. Once you've learned the basic polynomial integration techniques, and this very well is a good example of that, you can look at some of these easier formula derivations. But you still, with regards to those circular shapes like cones, cylinders, spheres, then you still have to wait till you've learned the polynomial substitution and the trigonometric substitution technique. But you have enough knowledge base that you can do these easy derivations. That's it for my video for this topic over here. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you for watching. Have a nice day.